Hello everyone, welcome to my political journalism news channel. The story for today is Labor leader Anthony Albanese has been open about struggling to come to terms with his marriage breakdown in 2019. But just a few years on, and the 59-year-old has completely transformed, dropping a whopping 18 kilograms and finding love. Mr. Albanese has been with his partner, Jodie Hayden, for 2 years, with the pair meeting just over a year after his separation from ex-wife Carmel Tebbutt. In a recent interview with the Australian Women's Weekly, Mr. Albanese opened up about being left heartbroken when his Ms. Tebbutt abruptly ended their 30-year relationship at the start of 2019. He told the magazine he was left emotionally bruised by the ordeal, but from what he has shared of his relationship with Ms. Hayden, it seems he has since healed from that part of his life. State of the Nation survey, how new partner helped him heal. Mr. Albanese met Ms. Hayden at an event in Melbourne in 2020. He said he had asked if there were any South Sydney fans in the audience, to which Jodie yelled out, "Up the Rabbitohs." After he introduced himself, Mr. Albanese found out she also lived a couple of suburbs away in his electorate of Marrickville. Ms. Hayden, a strategic partnership manager for an industry super fund, told the Australian Women's Weekly she wasn't looking for a relationship at the time she met the Labor leader. "I'd reached a point in my life where I was enjoying being single," she said. The pair were first spotted together kissing at an upmarket Sydney restaurant in June 2020. Ms. Hayden told the magazine she didn't realise how strong her feelings for Mr. Albanese were until he was involved in a life-threatening car crash. In January 2022, Mr. Albanese was driving home to Marrickville when a 17-year-old Range Rover driver veered onto the wrong side of the road and crashed into the Labor leader. "I saw the mess of a car before I saw him and thought, he couldn't survive this," Ms. Hayden said. "It was very scary, and in that moment, you realize just how much you love this person, the fear of losing them." Mr. Albanese credits the crash with giving him the drive to reassess his life, shedding more than 18 kilograms ahead of the federal election, which is tipped to be called for May. Ms. Hayden has showed continued support for Mr. Albanese's election bid, even taking a jab Prime Minister Scott Morrison on the Public Service Association of NSW's podcast. Hayden has a new role as Women's Officer for the New South Wales Public Service Association, telling the union's podcast of her disappointment in the Morrison government for not implementing the 55 recommendations of the Jenkins report into sexual harassment. "One of the things we could be doing is adopting respect at work, the 55 recommendations that the Jenkins report has delivered," she said. "You know, these steps are actionable, they're tangible, but at the moment, they're missing in action. We haven't seen these implemented more broadly." New Year's Day split that blindsided Albo. Mr. Albanese said he was blindsided when Ms. Tebbutt, former New South Wales Deputy Premier, decided to end their 30-year relationship on New Year's Day, 2019. He publicly announced their split just a few days later, saying he was deeply saddened by their separation. "We will continue to share parenting responsibilities for our 18-year-old son Nathan, who has successfully completed his HSC and has developed into an outstanding young man who we are both proud of," Mr. Albanese said in a statement at the time. He said no third parties were involved and asked for their privacy to be respected. Mr. Albanese and Ms. Tebbutt met in young Labor during the late 1980s and married in 2000. They were quickly dubbed Labor's power couple, with the pair both going from strength to strength in their political careers. The Labor leader told ABC Radio earlier this year that he didn't see it coming when his ex-wife ended their marriage. "I found it very tough. The relationship was 30 years old," he said. Mr. Albanese now lives in Sydney's inner west suburb of Marrickville with Nathan and their dog Toto. Speaking to news.com.au in 2019, Mr. Albanese said he and his son were close, adding Nathan still spends time with his mum. "Yeah, he spends time at his mother's as well," he said. "We are very close, and I try to make sure I'm sitting down with him and having quality time and talking about how he's going. I tried to make sure I was there for things like the weekend sporting fixtures. Spending time with him was sacred." His childhood wasn't always easy. Mr. Albanese grew up with a single mother, living in public housing in Camperdown in Sydney's inner west. His Irish mother Marianne Ellery met his Italian father, Carlo Albanese, on a cruise ship in the 1960s, but the couple did not stay together. When Marianne returned home to Sydney pregnant, with the child's father half a world away, she knew that the road ahead would not be easy. After having her baby, she told People that his father had died in a car crash during her pregnancy. She took on Carlo's last name and gave it to her son, Anthony. Mr. Albanese has continually praised his mother for everything she gave up so that he could have a better life. Life wasn't easy. A lot of things were uncertain, but one thing wasn't: Marianne's determination that her son's life would be better than her own, the Labor Leader's website states. It was from Marianne that Anthony learned the values of social justice and fairness. Sadly, in 2002 his mother suffered a brain aneurysm on Mother's Day and was rushed to hospital, where she died 2 weeks later. For most of his life, Mr. Albanese believed that his father had died before he was born. It wasn't until 2009 when he tracked him down in Italy, and discovered he had 2 half-siblings. The opposition leader learned early on that he would have to work hard to get to where he wanted to be. He started working full-time at the Commonwealth Bank just weeks after finishing his HSC at his Catholic high school. He then switched to an evening and weekend job stacking shelves at Grace Bros department store, before landing a new job at Pancakes on the Rocks. He worked throughout his years studying economics at Sydney University, where he met young people from privileged backgrounds for the first time, and discovered a world of possibility. "I was the first person in my family to finish school, let alone go to university," he told News.com.au in 2019 following the publication of his book Albanese, Telling It Straight. "I'd never met anyone from the North Shore before." That is all for today news. Thank you for watching to my channel. Please be sure to leave your comment and subscribe below for more news update.